Welcome. We're here with Bryan, who went on the Ecuador Ecology and Conservation Program. Welcome, Bryan.
Hey,
So, can you tell us about your experience on the program?
yeah, going on this program to Ecuador was one of the most fantastic things that I think I've done so far in my college education, or probably any of my education so far. Partly just because it was so different from any other kind of like schooling that I had had before, and that obviously means a lot of different things. But it really helped me kind of see what life could be like outside of just a classroom setting, which is something that I was getting a little tired of by the time I decided to go on this program.
hmm And was this program very hands-on?
Very hands-on, yeah. That's a little what I was talking about before. It was such a different kind of learning than just sitting in a classroom, touching the things you're talking about or performing an experiment of your own. But it was nothing compared to this, where we would literally go out for a week at a time into the field, and we would spend the entire time learning and schooling and doing things hands-on. And that would be like guided experiments or exercises where it'd be learning a technique, or it sometimes was just more like, we're going to explore, we're going to go hike and just talk about things and sort of see whatever catches your eye, and that was like really cool for me. It made it feel very much, or very little, like learning. Sometimes I think I was like, wow, like I can't believe this is school. But then after the fact, I was like, I learned so much from doing it that way, just like being out there and touching things and smelling things and just asking whatever questions came to mind. So yes, very hands-on, I would
hmm
say.
Great. And tell us about, did you stay in a homestay family for much of the time?
In a homestay family, they were so welcoming and warm. It really did feel like a home when I was in Quito. And the
hmm
homestay ended up like maybe my favorite part of the whole experience, actually. I still talk to them occasionally, not as often as I probably like to, but it was such a cool experience because living in a homestay, you get a way more, it's like a little shortcut into the culture of Ecuador a little bit. I think had I been living with other international students or in a hostel or something, it definitely would have been a different experience because they would take me to all sorts of family events and show me like some of their favorite food places. And I mean, they really were just like, yeah, oh yeah, you're one of the family now. And so I just went along with all the things that the family did. And it was really amazing. I love
Great.
that.
And tell us about your independent study project.
That I was very nervous for at the beginning. Not even at the beginning, even right as it was happening as well, because I had never really done a larger project like that before. At least such a dedicated project where it's like, okay, you're gonna have a month to do whatever you want. But what I ended up deciding to do was a project on macrofungi in the Amazon. So mushrooms, essentially, like visible fungi. But I was studying basically three different micro ecosystems on the island and comparing and contrasting like how many species and what kinds of species and what sort of substrates they grow on and such, and then trying to identify to the species level if possible as many of them as I could, which I learned a lot from. I learned about like how to design my own field work, but also I learned how hard it is to work with mushrooms. I found almost 150 different species of fungi. And I guess going along with that is that it also just definitely made me more confident about traveling and doing things on my own. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it. I'd never really done something by myself, although I wasn't really by myself, but um, I'd never really done something so independently for so long. And now I'm like, when can I do that again? When's the next time I'm gonna be able to go travel or study abroad somewhere? And and go explore. So yeah, it helped me like find that drive in myself, I guess.
Hmm. Great. And did you like the directors?
Yes, very much so. Javier,
Hmm.
he's wonderful. He was so great. We also had a Javier. I don't know if he's considered director, but they were our two main professors. Um, so it was definitely confusing at times to tell Javier and Javier apart, but they were like endlessly hilarious and also brilliant and just they really like I don't know what the program would be like without them. Like this was such a fantastic experience because I knew I wanted to be in a Spanish speaking country and doing this kind of science field work, and it ended up being everything that I wanted and more. But you have to, I don't know, consider your options definitely, and then find out what you do want. And a lot of that's going to have to do with like getting the information and talking to people who have been there and such. But um, don't don't say no to a program just because you're nervous about it, because I was super nervous about it as well too. Like going out, I was like, do I even want to go abroad? Like I don't know if I want to do this program at all. But I'm glad that I like made myself do it, um, because it turned out it was exactly right for me. Yeah, that's what I would say.